Hey everyone, today I've got your Alice Through the Looking Glass movie review. The Mad Hatter is going through a tough time, and Alice has to turn back time to figure out how to change the events that occurred leading up to the Mad Hatter's clear state of depression. As far as the story goes, this movie is directed by James Bobbin, and this is the sequel to Alice in Wonderland, which was originally directed by Tim Burton. And of course, I wasn't too sure of what to make of this movie, and first of all, I've got to wonder, why does this even need a sequel? I mean, I feel like this movie is baited for those who are fans of Johnny Depp and the Mad Hatter character, and how this sort of strays away from a lot of what was decent about the first Alice in Wonderland movie. And I feel like this movie is doing a lot of the wrong things, and it's just not coming out as impressive as I was anticipating. This movie has Alice going on this grand adventure, and she's meeting all of these different characters. It sort of feels like the same sort of cliched scenario where you're expecting some good things to happen, some obviously bad things to happen, and I just feel like it's not as impressive this time around as far as the plot goes. As far as the casting goes, you've got Mia Wasikowska, who returns as Alice, and I do like the fact that you see her in the real world and not in Wonderland, and you get to see more of her story with her family and what she has to go through. But I feel like it's a lot more interesting when she goes to Wonderland and has to deal with all these crazy, wacky, zany characters. I do like her portrayal as Alice, though I feel like at times her acting is a little bit forced, and I'm not believing a lot of the things that she's saying and the things that she goes through. She's trying to act like this big, huge hero. I mean, she was a captain of a ship. How is that even possible? I did feel like this movie was solely for Johnny Depp being the Mad Hatter. Of course, he has a lot of marketing going on with his character. He's obviously well known to work with Tim Burton, who is obviously producing this film, though I feel like him as his character, he just didn't impress me that much, and I feel like it's just the same old thing that I feel like I've been seeing him for many years, though I feel like he's not completely stooping to a new low with being in this role once again. I just hope this is the final time he can be this character. Other supporting actors, like the big bad of the film named Time, played by Sacha Baron Cohen. He was a little bit silly at times, and he did a few klutzy things. I didn't feel like he was as intimidating as his character looked to be, and I thought he was going to be more villainous, and I really didn't see that, and I was kind of disappointed because I thought Crispin Glover from the first movie did a much better job than he did here. You've got Anne Hathaway returning as the White Queen. I thought she did a good job, even though her role was very small, as well as Helena Bonham Carter, who also had a small role, thank God, because I just couldn't stand to hear her going like, ha 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 ha. It's annoying as all heck. The things that I did like about this film, obviously the visuals were a slight push for me. I feel like it's, exactly what we all want to see because of the animation, but I feel like that's a little bit of a stretch to say, because the things that I didn't really like about this film was the overall look of the movie. The CGI, I feel like it was a bit much. I feel like it was a little bit out of element, because it didn't seem to have that same consistency like the first film did, and it really did feel cheesy. I mean, I know a lot of people would say like movies like The Hobbit movies had bad CGI, but this I feel like was much worse. I can't say that I care too much about the characters because once again, this movie felt like it was being led by Johnny Depp, and this was his movie. This had to do with his story and his past and his life, and this should be a movie. I mean, it's called Alice Through the Looking Glass, not Mad Hatter Through the Looking Glass. So I don't understand what that's all about, and I really just couldn't care too much about anything else that was going on. The scenarios just did not impress me. I actually dozed off watching this movie halfway through. So about an hour in, I was out. And then I woke up right away, and then I said, oh, gotta finish this movie. Either way, that's clearly not a good sign that this movie was any good, and I just did not really like it as, I was originally anticipating. So overall, I would say that Alice Through the Looking Glass is quite the disappointment, especially being a sequel to a movie that is made by Disney, and I feel like it shouldn't have had a sequel at all. Considering the events that were in this movie, I feel like they were really pointless. So I wouldn't recommend seeing this movie, though I feel like you would have some enjoyment out of it, especially if you're a little kid and you don't really care about what's going on. You see all your familiar Disney characters in here. And I would give this 2 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of Alice Through the Looking Glass. Does this live up to the predecessor, Alice in Wonderland? And do you think this needs any more movies after this? Are you done? As always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates coming every week for a Chill Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I will see you guys later.